News on the go for you now. Ace Magashule will today find out when he'll be put on trial for corruption over the 255 million rand asbestos tender in the Free State. The province's former premier is accused of having benefited from kickbacks from the tender that was awarded to businessman Edwin Sodi.
So Magashule this week failed to secure an appeal to dismiss those charges against him. Let's touch base with Newzroom Afrika's Govan Whittles, who is in Bloemfontein, where Magashule is appearing this morning. Govan, great to see you. What has Magashule said about these charges, and what can we expect from him today?
Michelle, Ace Magashule says the state has no evidence against him. He says that the state can't prove that he received benefits, which include a 250,000 rand trip to Cuba for a delegation, electronic tablets, which were handed out to some of his beneficiaries in his foundation, where he's a patron. And then, of course, he says that he should be able to dismiss this case. The Supreme Court of Appeal disagreed with him this week when he sought leave to appeal a decision dismissing his application to make these charges go away. But they are quite serious charges, and what's interesting is the way in which the state has responded. They're saying that they're ready to put Ace Magashule on trial for corruption, and they're able to link him to the beneficiaries, or to having benefited from the kickbacks from the 255 million rand asbestos deal. This was a deal that was meant to remove asbestos roofing from homes in the Free State. Ultimately, only about 20 million rand worth of work was done. And Edwin Sodi, the businessman here, is accused of rent-seeking, essentially employing other companies to do the work for a much lower cost and then pocketing much of the money. Remember, Edwin Sodi was revealed to be an influential donor to politicians in the ANC, and having given the ANC itself 6 million rand during the last administration led by President Cyril Ramaphosa, when Zweli Mkhize, or led by former President Jacob Zuma as well, when Zweli Mkhize was the Treasurer General. What's interesting this time is that the pair have failed in the Supreme Court of Appeal, and will today indicate whether they believe that their legal teams are ready to defend them if the state is able to secure a date for the trial. Of course, Ace Magashule, being a big personality in the Free State, always has a lot of support around him. This time, the streets have been cordoned off along the perimeter of the High Court here in Bloemfontein, but there's no indication that he'll arrive with a lot of support. The ANC supporters that usually followed him around to previous appearances here at the Free State High Court aren't here either, and speculation is now swirling what the political future of Ace Magashule will look like. And today we hope to have an opportunity to ask him exactly that question.
Yeah, and we will bring it live right here on 405, Govan. I mean, I feel like we've been saying this for many, many months now, that this is the pre-trial phase and hopefully the trial will get underway. How far away are we to trial day number 1?
That's what we'll find out today. It should only be a few months at most. This case is so important for the state because they've secured a significant, or they've suffered a significant defeat in the Nulane matter, which was almost directly involving people who were associated with the Gupta family. One of the other benefits that Ace Magashule is accused of facilitating through the kickbacks from the asbestos deal is the payment of school fees for one of the associates of the Gupta family. So the state will hope to have all its ducks in a row when it appears here this morning and indicates to the court if it's ready to go on trial. It looks like they won't rush to set a trial date if they're not ready because of what happened in the Nulane matter, but all indications are that they are ready to go on trial, and that importantly they're able to prove that Ace Magashule did indeed receive benefits from these kickbacks. Remember, his statement has always been that the state has no proof that he indeed received those kinds of benefits. Today we will get an indication of what evidence they may be relying on, or at least get an indication of how substantive the amount of evidence is that they would take to the High Court once their trial gets underway. there is great expectation here, and the state is coming to this hearing on the back foot from that Nulane matter, because it needs to make sure that this case doesn't fall apart.
Yeah, so rather let's cross all of those T's and dot all of those I's. Govan Whittles live to us there in Bloemfontein ahead of Ace Magashule's appearance, and hopefully we will know today when he will be put on trial for corruption.